going to be good.
Can't be otherwise.
It's going to be. Hello, and welcome to Blades and Banners, a Tales of the Valiant actual play show set in the Eberron campaign world. Casey, what happened last time?
We fought a captain and we won.
This is true.
That's what happened. We did in fact kill the captain, who just so happened to be Lynn Ashford, Prince Ronica's younger brother. I'm sure nothing will come from that whatsoever.
Whoopsies.
It's true.
They don't know it was us, and they don't have a warrant. So
inside the captain's cabin of the Devourer's Wrath are Eliwise and Sohaina, who are basically tearing through the place and have just discovered the captain's log and the identity of the captain. Outside in the water are Finian and Oren Svoboda, who have both just caught up to the lifeless floating body of the captain that you just killed in battle.
So Finian is gonna grab and start to hover with the same propulsion that he slowly fell and work up alongside the ship to take the corpse back up into the office window that we dove out of.
Okay.
Svoboda will swim and climb back up the back of the ship.
All right.
I'm going to real quick while they're attempting. They are not within 30 feet of me, are they?
Not prior to their coming back into the cabin.
Okay. As soon as they do get back into the cabin, I would like to do a thing.
Okay.
That's where we're
well, it takes just a few minutes, but then, Finian and Oren Svoboda.
Svoborin.
Is that hyphenated?
Svoborin clamber back in through the window, through the shattered windows, Finian carrying the body of a captain.
I'm going to go ahead and cast Pass Without a Trace, because we have to get out of here.
¿Por qué?
Because we murdered the captain.
You hear
I don't
orange
even know
inside
what I just
Svoboda. I think murder is a strong word.
Agreed.
I'm going to say Sohaina walks over and puts her paw on the captain's face, waits a moment and goes, "No, I think it's the right word."
Finian is ringing out and, right, we should. Have we gotten anything we come here for?
We found the logbook.
Is there anything in there you've seen?
We know who the captain is. Did we also find what we're looking for?
I would say probably you rolled a very successful search, so you can definitely find things that you are looking for, but I would say probably your thorough searching of the captain's log was disrupted by your realization of what just happened.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm only now considering, should we be leaving him here? Is this more confusing to have a sopping corpse in the middle of his chambers?
Good news, bad news.
That'll be the
People
name of my
love a
metal
good
album.
mystery. So they would definitely want to know how that happened.
Well, are we gonna heal up the holes in?
I don't think we've time to repair the ship here.
Wait a minute. I'm so sorry. Can prestidigitate?
Prestidigitate will not actually do physical repairs. There's a cantrip called Mending,
Okay.
which does actually physically repair things, but prestidigitation is more illusory.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So leave him then, yeah.
I mean, it's respectful that we left him in his office, right? That's nicer than leaving him floating in the ocean.
Sure. And Finian is gonna pat him down and search him over real quick.
So his sword is gone because he was,
It fell.
But he's still wearing the coat, which you saw clearly had some magical properties based on watching him dive out the window. He has a quite nice compass in one of his pockets, and probably a belt pouch that's still sealed, which seems to have some money in it. He's got a signet ring.
Well, on the topic of respect, I suppose we ought to make it at least appear as though it was more of a robbery than anything, yeah?
That's respectful?
Well,
Yeah, that doesn't seem respectful.
that's a murder for a purpose, and this one won't seem as like we
What
might
was
be
the
only
purpose of this murder?
Oh, that's right.
defense.
For bonus still.
Defense, yeah. He struck at us first. It startled, drew down.
And Svoboda looks around. This is his ship.
I
What are you
Orin,
doing here?
You're free to help in speaking with your friend here.
How long does Svoboda stick around?
10 minutes.
10
Crikey.
teeny tiny little
It's an
minuscule
eternity.
minutes.
Y'all talk to him. Lingers, man.
On the way out?
Right, we do not have a positive relationship with his organization, and they've struck at us previously. They've defamed our name and tried to pin many reckless and disrespectful crimes on us, and we were looking to perhaps interfere or at least investigate in what they're doing here in these parts, and it escalated beyond where we'd anticipated.
What is your grievance with the organization?
Right, there's a lot. I respectfully understand your interest in the intricacies of the politicking between piratical formations here. However, we are in a bit of a hurry.
Svoboda. Go ahead.
I will write a history for you, and then next time we see you, I could give you the written history of that. Would that suffice?
Yes, I believe that would suffice. My
Sahina-
curiosity.
Sahina would say under her breath, "Oh, that's better than a hat." Sort of feeling a little
then-
envious. Go ahead.
Orin says, "Okay, that's enough," and starts to wave his hands and spites Svoboda, and
Svoboda-
Svoboda like dissipates.
And Finian has been
Orin
taking,
can dismiss Svoboda when he wants, but yeah.
Finian has been taking the items off and tosses the compass to Orin, who may need a new coat. Might be useful. I don't know.
I like
Also,
my coat.
Having
enough.
touched it, you know that this coat, this great coat, counts as a cloak of the manta ray. Which, once someone is attuned to it, it grants them the ability to breathe in water, and it gives them a swim speed of 60 feet.
good heavens.
That's
Right,
amazing.
well, maybe you don't, but we as a whole may need this. So.
This coat has served you well.
As you said, you
might
enjoy
not
it quite
be.
a lot. I won't force anything on you. And signet ring pouch. And right then, we should be off then, yeah?
Before we step out, Sohina would like to walk over to the hat rack where the hat is and take it and place it delicately on his head and just quietly say, "It really is a nice hat."
Don't think he can.
Take a luck point.
We probably should not walk off the gangplank. We should find a different way of getting out of here if we're leaving a murder scene behind us.
There's a giant gaping hole in the side of this room.
And that's my thoughts exactly.
I'm
Who's up for a
kidding.
swim?
Did we notice on the way around and onto this ship where their skiff is?
Oh.
Like yours, their skiff is stored amidship, where it can be launched. So it's basically on the deck, covered by a tarp.
Would have been really cool to take their skiff, but I don't know if that's the play.
You can steal their whole boat.
That is, boy, that is true. Should we consider leaving port and abandoning the ship on its way out?
How are we getting back to our boat? For those of you that can't fly.
With their skiff.
I wonder if also they have any prisoners down below. I'm just having the thought of, like, perhaps we're not the only ones on this ship.
Well, if we're going to maneuver a ship out of bay, we'll have time to see. Are we interested in this or no? Could
Wait,
be a
are we
passing
stealing
flight
a
of
boat?
fancy. The catch and release, more like.
Okay, but isn't this going to draw a lot more attention? Am I...
Most certainly, but I feel as though most of that attention will be towards the ship that is unmanned sailing away.
That's fair.
Okay.
But then
ghost
won't
ship.
that attention be diverted to the tiny boat coming from that ship?
Yes, thank you. Yes, that.
I like stealing the boat.
I just
That
don't
feels
know
very-
that could be for certain.
So, just so I understand, so the idea is the story we're trying to tell is that someone came in, threw a bucket of water on the captain, stabbed him with his sword, and then maybe threw that sword out the window into the water, stole a bunch of stuff, drove the ship out into the sea, and then took the skiff back to the island and the end?
It's quite a bit more story than I was trying to tell. I just figured this would mess with them in a way that might confuse processes in general.
Oh, good news. That story that she told was very confusing. So if that's what we're going for.
Yay or nay?
What's nay? What does nay look like?
Like no.
Just leaving the ship where it is.
And
the body.
yes, I understand that part of it. What does it look like with us? Are we jumping out of the side of the boat and
Right, is the
swim
other option
flying?
to just like get onto our boat and leave? Or are we just going to hang out and be like,
our boat's not ready
nothing
yet?
suspicious?
I assumed we came
That's
onto this.
true.
Yeah,
That's
we have
true.
3
Came onto the
days.
ship to go find them, to stop them from getting whatever they're hunting in the island.
Right.
Right.
So we should do that now?
I feel like his murder would be in vain if we didn't.
Death.
Okay, and so we're putting a pause on the ghost hunting.
I'm so sorry, but yes.
Okay.
For the time being,
Okay.
that does need to back burner just a bit.
I'm sorry,
We
Ellie
might
Wise. I was
come
really
across
looking.
some, right?
Okay.
True.
I mean, we've made one, so
Probably
sure
someone
he will
here
have
could
unfinished
conjure it.
business on this boat. So.
I don't mean to be insistent, but yay or nay?
Oh. Go. Your mouth is open. You talk.
I'm using that on my staff in the future. Oh, your mouth is open. Go ahead. Your
I was
turn.
going to say nay, given the conversation we just had about the purpose of us being on this ship in the first place was going to try and stop them from doing whatever they're doing. And so if we take the time to take a ship out to sea, take the skiff back, that's a lot of time that we're burning.
Ah.
That story makes sense to me.
Now, if we
right.
want to continue the robbery ruse, we could go down into the hold, see if there's anything of value, and take it. Then it's like, oh, somebody robbed the ship.
Oh, I think we should definitely grab a couple more things from this office. Ellie Wise is just looking for things that might be important, and then like.
I mean, this is a captain's cabin from a relatively wealthy, and the family that owns this ship is relatively wealthy. So lots of things here are just of significant monetary value.
Does he have a nice quill pen?
Totally.
Yeah, he doesn't anymore.
Right.
What's the feather from, Philip?
The feather is from a dragonhawk.
Oh. Taking that and his parchment. People will have no idea why he was robbed.
All right. We better boogie, gang. So.
What now?
Let's go.
Okay, so
Why
just
not
the
just say
office.
that? Oh, no, right. Piracy. For sure. To the hold and see what's there.
Okay, so you want to basically go over the ship, see what's in the ship. Somebody give me an investigation check for that effort. You can just pick whoever's got the better modifier.
I
Plus
have
7.
Oh,
plus 3.
yeah, it's you.
That doesn't mean my roll is going to go well, but
Well,
You
not
can have
screw it up.
advantage because
Absolutely
others are
does.
helping.
with advantage. Here we go. 21.
Ooh, would any
And-
bardic inspiration help with this too? If there's any left over out of combat?
It lasts for a few minutes, so if anybody's got bardic inspiration, it's still there, and if you didn't spend it.
I don't. My honesty is I don't remember if I used the one I had.
Okay.
Okay.
See, so Heine gave it. I don't know. So 21 is what I rolled the best on.
That's not a bad roll.
Nice.
Okay, so the ship is not loaded down. You would figure they're probably anticipating acquiring things in their expedition. So the ship's not loaded down with a bunch of things. However, you do know, I mean, you're certain that if you were to just take the contents of the ship, it would amount to quite a lot of salvage. It's just that it would be, of course, difficult to do. Obviously, I mean, within the context of what you guys have been discussing, the simplest way to carry away everything that is in the ship is, of course, to abscond with the ship. Probably with the 21, I will give you. It is true that the ship is currently empty. So the people authorized to come aboard the ship are not here. They're inland or dead upstairs. So currently the ship is empty and everyone who's authorized to be here is away.
Okay, Phil.
Oh,
go ahead.
it was going to be in character if you need to ask a question.
I was just going to ask real quick, just as a reminder for myself, because I can't quite remember. Are we trying to stop them from going inland to gather whatever they're trying to gather just because we don't like them? Or was this part of a larger effort?
I think initially it's just because you don't like them. You haven't really you're not fully aware of what they're after, other than that it, in some way or another, it belonged to Jorge the Black.
Right.
The former
Hunting treasure
High
of
Prince.
Jorge the Black. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Mia.
You know what we can do? We still need a skiff. So even if we're not taking the whole boat, why don't we take everything and put it in the skiff and then row the skiff over to our boat and unload? Would that work? If we're taking everything. Boy, everybody's really quiet. I thought that was a good idea.
It's not. Sometimes pondering on an idea does not mean an idea is bad. It's weighing all of the various ideas going around in one's head. So, no, it was not a bad idea. In fact, some might say it was a good idea. It's just, is it the best idea?
I like where we get the skiff and the things in the skiff. I, again, don't love that then we highlight that it's us and there's our boat and we're getting on it now.
And also, I do think it bears repeating, it is like lunchtime. So it's not like we're going to have the cover of darkness to do all this in.
That's true.
Right. So now, it should bear saying here, I don't know about y'all. I personally am in no way prepared to set out for an encounter with the crew of a ship. I'm barely able to have this conversation right now, as desperately as I feel the need to pass out. So I'm not entirely certain that we're going to be heading off to them today.
That's a really good reminder.
Right. It's pretty front and center in my mind right now. As is this nosebleed. With that being said, cover of night, and we know that they've set off for a couple of days. What are our thoughts of tonight, little mischief, and trying to meet up with them? Stopping them on the way back. If they're going for something from Jorge the Black, we've to assume it's treasure, right? They're most likely retrieving something to return here. So if we intercept them before they do, might be the best, rather than setting off right now in this moment where that was all the words I can put forward.
That's not a bad thought. So
Yeah, those are good words.
Come back to the end of the cover of darkness, execute Sahina's plan, maybe, throwing this out there, dispose of a body. I know that crafting a murder scene is fun and all, but also just there not being a body is also neat.
I'm sorry.
So, yes, let's leave this ship here now, come back later under the cover of darkness, and then we can steal. and we can let Finian rest up, since he's a sleepy lad.
No, it's not sleep. I just need to feel less near dead. Is all.
Do you
There are a
need
lot
to...
of dead here.
There are. Do you need to... Maybe you need to make more blood? Remember what our new friend said? Do you think that's what you need?
I still don't love that phrase, but
Well-
it is apt in this moment. Yeah.
So if we're not doing anything else on this ship, let's leave this ship and we can talk more on our ship. How about that, gang?
I could sleep here. So yeah, if we're leaving,
We should not
We should
sleep
leave.
here.
Okay. So we're going out the window? Or
I think that's the smart play. I think swimming to our ship rather than just walking down the gangplank after we did a murder. But that's just Oren's deal.
That nobody knows about.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, I guess can we peek out the window? Like, is everybody looking at the giant hole in the ship?
I mean,
Right, and the fact-
just one
a
over the
lightning
other.
bolt did explode out of this ship.
Right.
Yeah,
As
that's my
did
bad.
4 people.
That's my bad. Yeah. Sorry about that. I
Is
did.
everybody
Yeah.
on the docks just watching us have this conversation?
No, the captain's quarters is after the ship, and it's not facing towards the dock. When you peek out, there are definitely a few people who have been watching the ship curiously, because there are curious goings on. But no one's rushing aboard to do anything right now.
So I'm a pretty good swimmer, and Ellywise can turn into something else, right? And fly/swim.
Not for a long period of time. I
Right.
turned into a bird, and now I have to, just rest from that transformation.
Interesting. How is everyone else at swimming? Who should have?
Everybody
the
can
coat?
swim. You're sailors. You
Yeah,
can swim.
we're pirates.
Okay.
Awesome.
And I could...
All right.
Finian, if you'd be okay with it, I could carry you.
I appreciate that. If you notice me lagging and sleeping in the water, I'll definitely take you up on that.
Okay.
Maybe swim behind me so that you can keep an eye.
I'll
Alright,
keep
alright.
both of them.
So the
Sure.
four of you slip out through the window down
Within
into
30
the
feet of
water,
each other, so that we're swimming without a trace.
and swim over to your ship. As you approach your ship, you can see that there are just under the water line. There's a skeleton clinging to your ship, doing some carpentry.
Right.
There are there are a bunch of skeletons clinging to the side, trying to patch holes that are close to the water line. You can see some repairs going on the mast as you swim back towards your ship. And there's the side of Melville pacing the deck.
Do we care about Melville seeing this? Do we care? Hey, guys, treading water a little bit. Do we care about Melville seeing us? Do we have
He's
to?
a proper. Oh, no, no. I don't.
Are there windows in one of the quarters that we could climb up to and climb in, Philip?
Well, there are what you might call windows in several places on the ship.
They're holes, guys. It's what he's.
Yeah.
That is true.
There's probably windows in the mess, maybe towards the aft of the ship.
Oren's going to try to climb up to one of those windows to open it up.
Okay. You guys can clamber in through those windows and you pile up
Finian
into the officer's mess.
is just going to hover his way up
All right.
and then step
Show
in.
off.
No, well done though.
All right. Well, rest up and then cover of darkness back to the ship.
Right,
The other
yeah.
one?
Cheers. Good night.
We're wanting to sleep here. It's awfully noisy. Don't we want to go sleep in Lord Kalis's pancake-filled house?
There's nowhere I would less prefer to sleep right now.
Oh.
And Finian leaves for his workshop where he's going to go catch some Z's.
It is a little bit like being in a house that's getting a new roof.
When you're low single digits HP, you can sleep anywhere.
Sure. I'm not saying you can't sleep. I'm just...
You probably shouldn't sleep, honestly. You probably have a concussion. But
Well, I don't have the kind of friends that are bringing that up as a concern now, do I?
I was going to
Finian
say
has
Sahina
slipped
was
into
going
a
to check
coma.
on you. So Sahina's going to go. I mean, I guess everybody's going back to the rooms and just would like to look over at Ellie Wise and just say, do you ever feel like we're on a different page from them? Does it ever? Okay. I was
Maybe
just checking.
sometimes a different book.
Yeah.
As the
But,
rest of you start to leave the mess, Melville comes down the stairs and looks, and his bandaged head swivels to the side. One of the skeletons reported someone aboard. I did not see you return.
we swam. And then Orin walks past Melvin.
I do not swim.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is not good for me.
Because your bandages would get all wet?
Yes. Any of the alchemical ingredients that were used to preserve my corporeal form would not do well in long submersion.
Oh.
It would not harm me, but it would be inconvenient.
It's kind of
This
sad,
dude
honestly.
sounds like he's in
Yeah, how would
constant
you
pain.
solve that problem?
I would simply need to retrieve anything that detached.
Oh, okay.
Am I the only person who found that hilarious? Sorry, go ahead.
Welcome.
I
back
can't
to
encourage
your
him.
ship. And
Thank
Melville
you.
tips his
Yes,
hat
thank
and
you.
goes back up the stairs.
I was waiting for you to hit the bane right there. It would be extremely painful.
For your mind. Or your body.
For your body. We really let that go too quick as a society.
When Orin gets back to his room, he would check out the compass that Finian threw at him in the captain's quarters.
Sure. Give me an investigation check. Or if you've got any kind of crafting tools that would be relevant, I would take that.
Charlatan tools or artist's tools?
No.
I don't want to take away from this moment of Orin cluelessness, but I did handle it and throw it to him. If we can give him some advantage from me knowing how it works
It's not magical.
inherently.
21.
It is, however, it is an extremely well-made compass.
Nice.
The directional work of it. I mean, I say it's not magical. Everything at Eberronzil is a little bit magical. It's not magical in any sort of significant way. The artifice that went into it is exquisite. It maintains true north extremely well.
Yeah, I get the sense that in Eberron, compasses would be like divination magic, not
Yeah.
magnetism. Like, yeah,
Right. Yeah.
Magna magic?
Magna magic.
Exactly.
Okay. Anything else that I can find with 21?
No, it's an extremely well-made compass that keeps very, very true direction. Mechanically, having a compass would give you advantage on a survival check to know which way you're headed, or to pathfind.
Nice.
That's cool.
It'll help with my +2.
So Heina, they just left super quick, but we should like keep watch, right? For if somebody goes on the boat and discovers a dead body.
Yes. Very much so. I absolutely agree.
Awesome. I thought they were going to help with that, but that's...
Yeah, it's got to be that different
I
book.
guess not. Right?
Yes. Do you know if you want to... Are you able to keep watch with your owl form, or do you not need to do that to keep watch?
I cannot be an owl right now. I could after I rested a little bit.
Okay.
But not at the moment.
All right. Well, then I'll take the first watch because I'm feeling great.
Oh, good.
I didn't do anything in that fight, so I'm feeling really good.
Maybe that was wise. I did something, but I'm not sure I should have. So you make good choices, Sahina.
Oh. She waggles. Okay,
So
go rest.
Sahina
I got this.
Is going to go keep watch.
Yes.
Ellywise, as you rest, you can finish your investigation of the ship's log that you rolled so well on last time. So the captain's log here from the Devourer's Wrath contains several very significant pieces of information aside from its owner. As you flip through, you get the fact that Ronica Ashford, the prince of the Riptide Principality, had received some information regarding a cache of treasure hidden by Jorge the Black in the hills northwest of Vale. What Ronica and Lynn knew, but the rest of the crew had not been completely informed of, was that she hopes that this cache will provide clues to the location of an item referred to as the Star Compass, which is a quite famous treasure of Lazar, the original explorer who brought humans to this island for the first time. And while no one's entirely sure what the Star Compass does, the belief is that using the Star Compass is a way to pass through the hazards and storms and other strange phenomena that surround the island of Trebas Sinara, which is the island where Lazar and her fleet first made landfall when they arrived. And it is known as just a folklore that all of the princes of her line, prior to her line dying out, all of the princes of her line stashed a substantial portion of their treasure and were often buried on Trebas Sinara. But there are both seemingly pseudo-natural and arcane and all sorts of strange phenomena that make it no one has successfully landed on Trebas Sinara in centuries. At least no one credible. Lots of, old kooky sea captains in bars claim to have landed on Trebas Sinara. And therefore, there's surely a great literature of conspiracy and theory about Trebas Sinara that Ellywise is intimately familiar with.
Oh, yes. This is very exciting. And I will need to get the spelling of that from you.
Yes.
I shall put it in the chat. It is an island that is it is an island that is visible on the map of the principalities that is in our Discord.
Okay.
But there's the spelling in the chat for our call.
Awesome. Thank you. Well,
Oh
now
my
it's going to
God.
be hard to rest.
How much of a rest is Eliwise taking? Are you just recharging things, or are you hurt? I don't remember.
I am not hurt, but I am out of my spell slots. Not out, but almost out of spell slots. So I would like to do a long rest to get those back. I need a long rest for that, right?
I believe to get your spell slots back. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That's what I thought.
most of the crew just relaxes. I'm not sure whether sleep is likely for many of you, as you woke up not very many hours ago. But most of you are resting, at least until about 8 in the evening.
I can click the button.
So
You may click the button.
Oh, my sheet looks so much better now.
does that, if I'm on watch, does that mean I do not get whatever rest this is?
You can, yeah, you can.
And this was a short rest?
You can take a long rest,
Oh, Fabu.
because that seems like that's what Finian and Eliwise and possibly Orin all desire.
Orin was bloodied, so Orin wasn't as bad as Finian, but Orin was actively bleeding when he went to bed.
So, yes, game questions.
Mhm.
What would we know, if anything, would be the consequences of not only what we've done, but what we're talking about doing? Like killing Ronika's brother, stealing the ship. Is this
Sure.
Lesturga would love and adore us for it?
So, I will explain this in precisely the same way that I explained it to my daughter, because I was telling Kelly what happened, and Rose was cackling.
Hi, Rose.
So, Romeo and Juliet. Okay, all right. Montagues and Capulets. Beginning of the play, we've got, I don't remember the names of the nobody characters that are walking along, insult each other, get into sword fights, pick a fight with each other because they work for the Montagues and the Capulets. Absolutely nobody in the play ever cares that happened. Like, nothing to do with it at all. But the second Tybalt gets killed,
Right.
suddenly it's a big thing, because it isn't, or I suppose the Godfather, lots of just mooks get killed over the course of that. But as soon as Sonny Corleone gets killed, now it's war. And so fighting Riptide crews, killing Riptide sailors, this is the cost of doing business in a somewhat anarchic culture that is built around essentially organized crime, violence. Killing Ronika's brother, killing the prince's kin, isn't actually any more or less wrong or illegal, but it is a substantial escalation in the conflict between your two principalities.
And it's something that would require retribution.
Yes. Ronika can't just write this off as, oh, they got me. It will require an answer in some kind of significant way.
In blood.
Sure, yeah.
So it probably should have been cleared with Lesturga.
I mean, it was, you didn't know who you were fighting, but yeah, in an ideal world, you would talk with your prince before you assassinated a member of a rival family.
Okay, assassinated's a strong word.
That is a very strong
It's
word.
true. As far as what you are talking about doing, intercepting her crew, preventing them from doing what they're trying to do, stealing whatever treasure they have acquired. That's Tuesday. Like that's
I feel
that's
real good
what
about
you do.
that.
Stealing
Wednesday.
even stealing the ship is like wow, you really got them.
Okay, even though it is Linz's ship, like
yeah, even though it is
Okay.
Lynn's ship, even though a part of her fleet, that's a win in a lot of ways, because that's embarrassing to have one of your ships just stolen, and also, of course, a substantial material gain to the Coral Fang, and loss to the Riptide. The other theoretical consequence is you are doing this in Lord Kalis's harbor.
Oh no.
And this, there's a certain piratical social contract in which, by leaving their ship in the harbor of Vale, it kind of sort of comes under Kalis's protection. In the same way that, your ship has been under Kalis's protection while in harbor, which is why you're able to leave their ship. Like, it's why one of you doesn't have to remain on the ship all the time to prevent it from being just stolen. In some circles, it would be bad form to steal the ship. But also, man, you really got those guys by stealing their ship. So there's a potential trade-off. There could be blowback on Kalis from the Riptide Principality, which, again, is bad or good depending on how you look at it. If Riptide Principality decides to take this out on Kalis, it kind of pushes him into your corner. But
even though we put him in the corner. But
right.
Correct.
With bait.
And do
Again,
we know,
depending on whether anyone figures that out.
do we know
are there
Kalis's-
any other cruise ships in the harbor right now?
Probably. Yes, there are definitely other ships from other principalities that are in harbor right now.
Are there, and I can make whatever check Orin would need to make, are there any ships from principalities that are smaller than us and Riptide, and perhaps hungry, like ambitious to like...
Sure. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Tell you what, give me a check to look at flags and identify flags. Give me a check with history.
Oof. Okay.
Another one of those places where Streetwise really needs to still be around.
15.
Oof.
15. Okay.
Solid.
With only a
that's-
+1 modifier. That's great.
Yeah, that's good. I will say there are. So there is a ship from. There is a ship. There are a couple. There's a ship from the Kareth Tar Principality, which is the principality on Thrug, which is the southernmost of the little 3 islands around Nine Bay. That's your other neighbor, essentially.
Okay.
And there is a principality. There's a ship from not a principality, but from one of the other sea lords on Nine Bay. There is one from Sharktooth Bay, which is up the coast from here.
Okay.
So those are 2 different fleets that you see represented in the bay, or in the harbor here at Vale.
How deep is the water in the harbor?
deep. I mean, it's deep enough for ships.
All right. Once we all start getting up, Orin would find everyone to talk about next steps and the plan. Orin would say, all right, I was thinking while I was lounging about healing up, what if we framed someone else for the murder? So then it's not up in the air. There's a clear finger to point at.
Can I just ask real quick, did I see anything while everyone was resting? I assume that watch passed fine.
Yeah, just the normal business
Okay.
of the harbor.
Okay.
So there's another principality, Kareth Tar from Thrug, that's in harbor. If we take some of the valuables that we took from the office, and we use that fancy coat that you got, Finian, to swim down and get his sword, and then plant all of that evidence on their ship, and then we go alert somebody, then maybe we take the heat completely off us for this very escalated act of aggression towards Riptide.
I like that idea. Will we still get to keep the skiff and any of the gold or treasure, or do we have to give it all away?
I think we could probably take some of the salvage from the hold.
Okay.
I think probably taking the skiff would be too obvious, but I'm open to feedback on this plan.
Whatever we do, we will have to tell Lesh Durga all of it.
Yes, of
Okay.
course we will tell Leshturga what happened, but I think that conversation would go better if we had covered our tracks well. Finian, you're being very quiet.
Just because you're being quiet doesn't mean that it's a bad plan. It sometimes means that the weight of it is being pondered.
I did not make a value judgment on your silence. I was merely observing it.
I see the value here in this strategy. I'm considering we don't know for certain which direction will provide more satisfaction to Lesh Durga in our actions. We don't know that she hates this death. And I remember you saying perhaps hiding a corpse instead of outright acknowledging a murder's existence, death's existence.
Both things can be true. I think that if we hide a corpse and then we take all of the stuff from their ship and put it on our ship, including their skiff, that paints a pretty big target on us. And while I don't think Leshturga is going to be upset at the death of Len Ashford, I think the repercussions of us having killed Len Ashford and the Ashfords knowing that fact would be something she would not be so keen on.
Especially if that puts Kalis in a weird position.
I mean, I'm less concerned about that. He creeps me out and is weird. But
You didn't have the pancakes, but okay.
Yeah.
I did.
Quite
sounds like
opposed.
you want to
Forward
put
on
him in a
this.
weird position, Sahina.
If we got Lesh Durga the star compass, then we would definitely be forgiven of any anything that we have done that might have upset her. And so we should definitely do whatever we can to get the treasure that they're getting after right now as soon as possible.
Certainly. And have you been able to determine, from what you've seen in there, how far inland are they right now? Do you know where they're headed?
Ooh, did I find a
You do.
map? I do.
You found coordinates more or less. You know that they're heading into the hills northwest of Vale.
Oh, yes, I do know that.
It would be very hard to know where they are right now.
I know where they are headed.
Do we know how far in they're headed with those coordinates?
A day or two.
That's about right.
Well, I have a compass that will help us get there. But before we go, if we're hitting the road, Philip, his sword seemed really cool, right? Like,
I mean, it was glowing red hot and doing fire damage to you.
can I borrow the coat that we found from him?
What do you know of this coat? Just kidding. I did not pass along what it does.
Fine. Hey, tell me about that weird coat that I clearly saw him turn into a manta ray and fly through the air and then into the water with.
Certainly, but we're not leaving no resolution to the ship. Right, like, this has to be decided before we leave. If
You don't
things
think
go
we can
awry,
just leave it as is? Just.
No.
Oh.
I think that leaves too many.
Like I said, nobody's authorized to go on that ship.
Yeah. But we talked to the harbor master right before we went on the ship, right?
That is true.
Yeah.
Y'all
And
did.
don't-
Ellywise was not there.
Do we happen to know whether I would love to remember the name of the place. If the Karathar people, are they jerks? Are they worth framing?
So the Karathar are a principality that is primarily made up of orcs. The prince of that principality. Don't like that.
Yeesh.
Is is Zareth Ulur, and Zareth Ulur, essentially, so a little bit of history that you guys are probably at least broadly aware of, is there was a really long and bitter war, as all fantasy worlds are required to have, between the orcs and dwarves in the Mror Holds, which is the mountainous region northwest of the principalities. And in some places, that's still going on. In some places, some of the tribes of orcs and dwarves have more or less gotten over it. In some places, they're still fighting in the mountains. Zarath Ulur basically decided, we've more or less lost. The dwarves have mostly driven the orcs from the mountains. Let's go somewhere else. And so the Karathar Principality is an attempt by Ulur to be a new homeland for orcs from the Mror Holds, where they are not in conflict with the dwarves. They have a substantial. They have a dreadnought in their fleet called the Iron Fang, which is reinforced with plating. He's trying to recreate the Indomitable, Jorge the Black's ironclad ship. And it is a mineral-rich, Thrug is a mineral-rich island, which is famous for exporting cold iron, which is an extremely durable metal that is resistant to magic.
So we're cool with framing him.
I don't know.
don't either.
I'm cool framing them because they are not currently embroiled in a cold-ish war with Riptide, and so be less likely to have as much blowback as we would.
I'm fine with it because they're not us. So,
Or we could just go with Eliwise's plan, leave it as is, and hope that the blowback goes on Kalis.
Oh, I don't
No.
like that plan.
Yeah.
Why not? What
Oh,
makes
my
framing
goodness.
the orcs just trying to live their lives more appealing than the creepy man in the castle?
The creepy man in the castle, as you call him, has actively helped us do things, and they have not.
A skeleton walks by.
So
Yes, Orin, he's fixing
we
our
are speaking
boat.
very openly around this crew. I feel like
No, I like to think
This
that we
is-
are in one of our rooms, but these skeletons just don't know boundaries. They're just walking around fixing anything they can find.
That is accurate.
not how
That is what they are
subterfuge
doing.
is done.
They're making that one's making the bed.
they're on the you can go anywhere with the clipboard mentality.
Melville said y'all might be more comfortable not aboard the ship while this is happening, but here we are.
Well, Sahaina said it too.
I don't love leaving it the way it is right now. We should, in one way or another, have some control over the narrative of what's found when it's found. We cannot be certain that we will be successful in intercepting them as they come back from Jorge's stash. And even if we are, if any of them are alive on the other side of that, we will be the ones, obviously, who instigated trouble for them. And if there's not trouble that's signed by someone else, it'll be from us.
What if we just throw the body in the water? Like, things eat bodies. Like,
Sure.
Right? No body, no crime.
And we could weigh it down. Just sink him.
And just leave the big hole in the side of the ship that no one's going to worry about. And
Right, perhaps he's kidnapped. That's very true.
Okay, in addition to what you were saying, what if we also left a note for what is the principality name? Karath
Karethtar.
Tar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What if we left a note for Karth Tar to meet the captain on the ship, and so then there's no body, and also they were seen getting on and off the ship. We weren't the only ones. That at least throws some suspicion into what happened on the ship.
that's what a
Right.
note means, right?
Captain Linz wants to meet you and has some questions that he would love to discuss. Please show up at, noon when everybody's outside.
So, as you all take time to debate the possible merits of framing people versus doing some piracy versus anything else, we're going to leave this episode there because we're at our time. And we will see you guys next week. If you'd like to get in touch with us between now and then, you can do so in comments or over on the Discord, the link to which is in the description, along with links to the other things done by these wonderful people. New episodes of Blades and Banners drop on Mondays on Spotify and YouTube. New episodes of the Ship's Log, our Q&A show, drop on alternating Fridays on YouTube. And until next time, thanks for rolling with us.